Hi guys, welcome to this session on Microsoft Access. In this module, I want to show you what the main elements are in an Access database. This is for a beginner, somebody who's never used Access before. We're going to look at how to create a table, a query, a form, and a report. The four main elements. We're not going to look at macros or Visual Basic in this session. So first of all, let's create a new database. So I'm on the new option, blank database, and it asks you to name the database. So this is slightly different to an Excel file or a Word file where you can just save as. In Access, you have to name it straight away. So I'm going to call this customers database. That's all I want to call it, and then I'll create, and then it opens up with a table already opened, ready for me to start editing. Now what I like to do is, although you can just click and add a title here and then add the type of data that's going to go into it, so I'll just basically type into there. I like to go into design to do all of this, but it's totally up to you whether you want to do that. It's also give you an ID field, which is a unique identifier, and again you don't need that if you are only using just Access as a one table, but if you're going to link an Access database, link two tables together or three tables, you need to have a unique identifier, a primary key it's called. So I'm just going to go into design on this table. It's going to ask me to save the table straight away, so I call that TBL customers. TBL is a designator for table, so that's what that's for. You don't have to put that, but it's helpful if you do. And then we'll drop into design. So you've got a toggle switch here between design and view. If I go view, it just shows me what was on before, and then I can toggle this. Now I want this to be customer ID, not just ID, so I'll put customer in front of that. It's set as an auto number, which means every time I add a new customer, that will increment by 1. So I'm just going to go surname, first name, like so. Do a bit of a typo there, first name. I like to have a capital N actually there, so I'll put a capital N. And then we'll have address, city, and postcode. That'll do for this. And date. Joined, we'll put it, joined the company, or did a sale. Now, under date tab, you've got all these different options. So I've said already that's an auto number, that's going to increment by 1 each time. Surname is short text, which means you can put text in there. Its default field size at the bottom is 255. That is the maximum you can have for short text. If you wanted longer text, like a memo, you can have it onto that option, long text. And when you click on long text, it doesn't give you any sort of limit there, but there is a limit. It used to be about 5 pages worth of text, but I'm not sure what it is right now, but it doesn't matter. I'll put it back to short, that's what I want it on. The date joined, I want that on a date field, date time field, and then you can input a format on there, or you can put a format mask as it's called, to stop people typing dates how they want, and only in a set way, whatever you set, and also get it to display in a set format. So I'll just do that on this date field. So I want it to be like that. So to do an input mask, I'm going to have to save the table. It's going to say save the table, and then it should run the wizard and let me do an input mask. Yes, save the table, and there's the input mask. So that's the format I want, short date, and if you click into this box at the bottom, it gives you a little idea what that's going to look like. I'm just going to go finish. I don't need to do anything other than that. So for each of these fields at the top, you have a set of properties at the bottom, different things that you can do, default value. So for the city field, for example, let's say everybody is basically in Newcastle. So if I put Newcastle as a default value, that will be there already for me if I'm about to type a new record. I don't have to type that in, but you be careful with that, because if your locations are just totally random, there's no point having a default value for that. And a date join field, you could have a rule that would say it's got to be after today, for example, and then the text maybe say the date must be in the future, so you can't put a date in the past. That might be a bit restrictive if you've forgot to do something. You've got this required yes and the option yes or no. If you put it onto yes, basically you have to put something in that field. You can't just leave it blank. So be careful, because it's obviously people do want the data, but you've got to be careful if you're going to get the data. Like, I need your passport number, but they haven't got it at hand. That would stop you filling that record in at that particular point until you got the passport number. Now let's just go back up to the top here. On this side you've got a description and it says optional. Yeah, it's helpful. Not in this case, I don't think, because it's fairly straightforward what all these fields mean. You might need to put a qualifier there. What is that date joined? You could put something there, so date first sale and company or something. But anything that is a bit ambiguous in this list, you must put something there to tell other users what that field's for. And then once you've done that, you can then have a look, save the table, and then the columns are there for you. And then you can see there's Newcastle already been filled in. That's the default value, even though there's no record there at all. And it's just a case of, if I just put my name in there, it's just a case of typing and tabbing across like so. 1 Red Road, Newcastle's already there. Tab past Newcastle. In fact, I killed Newcastle there, didn't I? Tab past Newcastle and put the postcode in, NE11RT. Date joined, control semicolon, today. And there you go. And then you're ready for the next one. And then you close that down, and you may want to create another table. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a table that I've already created from another database, so we don't have to fill that in, and then we can use that table. So from external data you can import tables, queries, whatever. So whatever you want to import, you've got these options here: from file, from database, from an access database is what I want to do. So just click on that. It's a case of finding that database on your system, and mine should be in examples, and then access, and then company records, that one, and then OK. Then it's going to give me a list of all the tables and queries and things that's in there. And there's a table that I want, but if there were queries, which there aren't, you would see them there. I just want that. I'll click OK, and that'll bring it in. I don't need to save anything. I'll just bring that in, and then it comes in address details, which some data is already filled in for us. So we've got this now to play with. Now you can have as many tables as you want, but they should be related tables, i.e. you wouldn't have something to do with phishing if this was about customers or addresses details, unless it was a list of members. So if we have a look at this table, this is just like an Excel spreadsheet really. You've got the options to sort by different things and filter like you do in Excel, but what you've got in Access is the ability to save filters as queries, so we can save them and manage them and then run reports on these queries. So let's just do that. Let's create a query. So if you go to the top, click on create query by design, and it asks you for the table, so you can either drag it in or pull it from this side. I just like to drag it in, drag and drop the table, and then just expand it so you can see all the fields. Now this table at the bottom is called the query by example grid. You've got lists across row names, field, table it came from, where they want it sorting, a tick box to say show this column or not, and then criteria is where you ask the questions, and or is also where you ask the questions. So I could say, if this was a city column, Leeds or Bradford or Sheffield, and stuff like that. So to get these down there, there's several ways of doing it. You can double click on the title, which will highlight everything, and then just drag and drop. Everything drops in. Or you can just drag them individually down like that into there. I don't want to do that now, it's already down. You can drop the arrow down there and add them from this drop down list, or you can click this little star and it brings them all down as a little stacked group. Lots of different ways, it's totally up to you how you bring them down, but you do need the fields down in this grid. Now to create a simple query, let's just have a quick look at the table. What can I ask it? Let's look at the cities. So let's have a look, let's do a query that just brings back people that live in Bradford. So if I close that down, what you need to do under the city column, you need to put your criteria. So if I type Bradford, you got Bradford there. When you click underneath that, that comes up with these two quotes. That means it sees that as a text field, which is what it is. That's good. And then if we run this query, it should just show us Bradford, and it does. So then you save that query, because you've done this for a reason. You want to see these people all the time, and this will grow. So if I save this query, and I'll call it QRY Bradford, so that's going to be used over and over again, and this is how it works. Look, so it says there's 1 of 5 records. If I close that down, go to address details, and let's move somebody from down to Bradford. Okay, there's no drop down list, so let's just type it, Bradford. So now there's an extra one, so if I close that down and then just open that query again, it says 1 of 6. There's now 6 people living in Bradford, so that's the benefit of that. And then what you do is you base a report on this query, so you've always got that information. So if I do that, if I click on create report, I'll just do a report, a blank one, so you can see how it works. It'll just drop it in. Not very nice, really. I don't like using the wizards. You end up messing about with the size of these and pulling them across, getting them onto one page and all that. So it's quicker to just do a blank one and add them yourself and then tidy it up. But basically, if I close this down, yes, I do want to save that. I'm going to put RPT in front of that. So we've got, now if I change the address details somebody else, let's go for, move this one to Bradford. Okay, it's telling me that the table at this lookup, because I copied this in, is this drop down list is looking for a table which I didn't copy in, which I'm going to copy in now, so then we don't get this hassle. So if I go in there, go and get from database access, same one, browse, and company records. This time I'll bring in the city table, which is what it's asking for. It's a lookup field, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. Click OK to that. OK. And then what I need to do is go and get this to look at this table, because at the moment it's not. So if I go into design on this table, go home, back to design, on the city there's a lookup. So it's got it there. It's already there. Let's see if it picks it up. So if I go back into this should pick this up. There we go. Now it works. So that's all that is. So instead of having to type each of these cities, I can just select from a drop-down list. So I've changed somebody else to Bradford. So let's have a look at the query. The query now says 7. Now I don't need to open the query anymore, because I can just run the report. If I just double click on that report, there are 7 records. It picks it up. And if I go back and delete in the address details, if I just change some of these back to leads, so now there should be 5. If I close that, I don't need to run the query, because this is looking at the query, and when I run it, it says 5. So basically in Access, you create a table, you interrogate the table through queries, and then you base reports on those queries in the basic use of Access. And then this is what you would print out. Obviously you'd make it look a lot nicer than that, and then you get the results. Now a form, which is the other thing I mentioned, is really got 2 purposes. One, you can use a form to navigate around your database, or 2, you can use a form to input data, which is what its primary purpose is. So let's create a form design. Now if I go to the property sheet, what you've got to do is tell it what to look at. So I'll go address details. When I do that, the fields will all be there. Now if I create another form, but don't use the blank option, just click on form. If I go into, I'll highlight that. If I click on form, it already creates it for me. You see it's all there, but again you've got the same issue where you then have to sort of adjust all these boxes. I'm in layout view at the moment. I can go into design view and you get the same sort of thing. You can move these across because you don't want that much space, but they're coming across as a group, like, because it's all part of a table. And if you wanted, say, the title to be quite narrow because it's only got a couple of letters in it, but the name or the address or city wants to be longer, you've got a bit of a problem here. So they're all going together. So what you have to do is go to arrange and remove the layout. This is called the layout. If I click on that, remove that, click away, and then you should be able to independently expand or contract these little boxes. Get out of it like that. Now I can do it. So you can then do that yourself. So I'm not going to save this one. I'm just going to close this one. No. And I'm going to just show you how you would then do this. If I hold my shift key down and click on the bottom one, I can bring all the fields across, put them, remember the labels are going to come out to the left, so don't go too close. If I go there, you see that I don't have that layout problem, but I still have to move around these boxes to be the correct sort of size. Now as you get a bit more confident in Access, you can actually use formulas and things like that to stop boxes truncating. It's quite a tidy way of doing it, but there's a form. So if I go and save this form and just call it FRM for form customers, well, I should put TBL customers actually, because that's what it's looking at. TBL customers. Okay. And then if I go and have a look at the form, there it is. There's all the customers. Now if I go to the little star at the bottom, that'll give me an option to do a new record, and then I can just fill that in. Now this is not an auto field, so I need to have the next number. It's not an auto number field, so I need to put 16 in there. So that's a bit of a mistake really, because obviously you need to know what the next number is. So I'll just put John Brown. Now he can live at 2 Red Road. He's my next door neighbour. And I'll tab down and I'll just type L for Leeds because it'll put it in there, and I'll tab again and let's type W, and West Yorkshire comes up, and then I can just do the postcode LE12RT. I'm not bothered about, I'll do date joined, but that's about it. Not bothered about date checked and things like that. Close that down, have a look at the table, because that's just an input mechanism to the table. Open the table, and there's John Brown at the bottom filled in. So that's basically the 4 main elements that I wanted to talk about at the beginning. So you create a table, then you create a query or several queries to interrogate information on the table. You have a form to input into a table if you want. Nothing stopping you just inputting into this, but then it can get a bit cluttered, a bit more like Excel. And then the output for Access is a report. So the input is a table, query does all the donkey work, the output is the report, and that's what Access is all about. Setting up reports so you've got information on the click of a button. Basically it just comes out with all the information you need if you've set it up and designed it right. But this is just getting people started, nothing too technical. Hopefully you found it useful. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you on the next one.